Business ethics and corporate social responsibility. Ethics in business decision-making. Ethics plays a critical role in the decision-making process within organizations. It helps businesses ensure that their actions align with moral principles and societal values. Making ethical business decisions not only benefits the organization, but also builds trust and credibility among stakeholders. In this tutorial, we will explore the concepts of business ethics and corporate social responsibility and their significance in the decision-making process. Understanding business ethics and corporate social responsibility. Business ethics refers to the moral principles and values that guide the behavior and actions of individuals and organizations in the business world. On the other hand, corporate social responsibility, CSR, refers to the commitment of organizations to contribute to the well-being of society and the environment. These concepts are closely intertwined, with CSR being an integral part of business ethics. The importance of ethics in decision-making. Ethical decision-making in business is crucial because it helps organizations avoid engaging in harmful or illegal practices. It ensures fair treatment of employees, customers, and suppliers, and helps foster trust and strong relationships. Ethical decision-making also contributes to the sustainable development of society and the long-term success of the organization. Factors influencing ethical decision-making in business. Several factors influence the ethical decision-making process in business. These include 1. Individual values. Personal values and beliefs play an important role in shaping ethical decision-making. Individuals with strong moral principles are more likely to make ethical choices. 2. Organizational culture. The organizational culture and values significantly impact the ethical decision-making process. Companies that prioritize honesty, integrity, and responsibility are more likely to make ethical decisions. 3. Legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with legal and regulatory requirements is a key factor in making ethical decisions. Organizations should ensure that their actions align with local laws and regulations. 4. Stakeholder influence. Stakeholders, including customers, employees, suppliers, shareholders, and the community, can influence ethical decision-making. Organizations need to consider the impact of their decisions on all stakeholders. The ethical decision-making process. The ethical decision-making process is a systematic approach that helps individuals and organizations analyze complex situations and make ethical choices. Although the process may vary, it typically involves the following steps. 1. Identify the problem. Clearly define the ethical dilemma or problem to be addressed. Consider the various perspectives and potential consequences of different decisions. 2. Gather information. Collect all relevant facts and information related to the dilemma. Identify any legal or ethical guidelines that may apply to the situation. 3. Evaluate options. Generate and evaluate different alternatives for resolving the ethical dilemma. Consider the potential outcomes, ethical implications, and the interests of stakeholders. 4. Make a decision. Based on the evaluation of options, choose the most ethical and appropriate course of action. Consider the potential short-term and long-term consequences of the decision. 5. Take action. Implement the chosen course of action. Communicate the decision to all relevant stakeholders, ensuring transparency and fairness. 6. Evaluate results. Monitor the outcomes of the decision and assess their impact on stakeholders and the organization. Learn from the experience and make necessary adjustments for future decisions. In conclusion, ethics in business decision-making is a vital aspect of organizational success. By considering the principles of business ethics and corporate social responsibility, organizations can make sound, ethical decisions that benefit both the company and society at large. Understanding the factors that influence ethical decision-making and following a systematic process can help businesses navigate ethical dilemmas effectively. Remember, ethical decision-making is an ongoing process, and organizations should continually evaluate their actions and decisions to ensure they align with principles of ethical business conduct. Corporate social responsibility and sustainability. Understanding corporate social responsibility and sustainability. In today's world, businesses are not only expected to generate profits, but are also expected to contribute to society and the environment. This concept is known as corporate social responsibility, CSR, and sustainability. In this tutorial, we will explore the importance of CSR and sustainability and how businesses can incorporate these principles into their practices. 1. Definition and importance of CSR. CSR is the idea that businesses have a responsibility to consider the impact of their actions on society and the environment. It involves taking into account the ethical, social, and environmental consequences of business activities. CSR helps businesses build trust, enhance their reputation, attract and retain customers, and foster long-term sustainability. 2. The link between business ethics and CSR. CSR is closely related to business ethics, which is the study of ethical principles and moral values that guide business behavior. Ethical business practices are key components of CSR as they ensure that businesses operate in a responsible and sustainable manner. Ethical considerations help businesses avoid legal issues, maintain positive relationships with stakeholders, and promote fairness and justice. 3. Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The United Nations has identified 17 SDGs that aim to address global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and sustainable consumption and production. Businesses can contribute to the achievement of these goals through their CSR initiatives and sustainable practices. Incorporating SDGs into business strategies helps align corporate objectives with broader societal and environmental objectives. 4. Areas of focus for CSR and sustainability. A. Environmental responsibility. Minimizing environmental impact through sustainable resource use, waste management, and reducing carbon emissions. Implementing environmentally friendly practices, such as energy efficiency, recycling, and conservation efforts. Supporting and investing in renewable energy sources and sustainable technologies. B. Social responsibility. Promoting workplace diversity and inclusion, fair wages, and opportunities for personal and professional growth. Ensuring health and safety in the workplace. Supporting community development initiatives and philanthropic activities. Ethical sourcing and supply chain management to ensure fair treatment of workers and prevent human rights violations. C. Stakeholder engagement. Engaging with stakeholders such as employees, customers, suppliers, and communities to understand their needs and concerns. Actively involving stakeholders in decision-making processes. Communication and transparency in sharing information about CSR initiatives and progress. 5. Strategies for implementing CSR and sustainability. Develop a clear CSR policy that outlines the company's commitment to CSR and sustainability. Conduct a thorough assessment of the company's operations to identify areas for improvement and set measurable goals. Integrate CSR and sustainability into the company's overall strategy and decision-making processes. Allocate resources and investments to support CSR initiatives. Regularly monitor and evaluate the impact of CSR initiatives and make adjustments as needed. 6. Benefits of CSR and sustainability. Improved brand reputation and corporate image. Increased employee satisfaction, engagement, and retention. Attraction of socially conscious customers. Enhanced relationship with communities and stakeholders. Potential cost savings through sustainable practices. Reduced legal and reputational risks. 7. CSR reporting and standards. Companies can provide transparency and accountability by reporting on their CSR initiatives and progress. Several standards and frameworks, such as the Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, and ISO 26000, provide guidelines for CSR reporting. Reporting can include environmental performance, social impact, governance practices, and alignment with SDGs. In conclusion, CSR and sustainability are essential components of business ethics. By embracing these principles, businesses can contribute to a more sustainable and responsible future while also reaping long-term benefits. Incorporating CSR into business strategies ensures that profitability is not pursued at the expense of society and the environment. Ethical leadership and organizational culture. Ethical leadership is a crucial aspect of maintaining an ethical business environment. It involves setting a positive example, establishing clear ethical standards, and fostering a culture where ethical behavior is encouraged and rewarded. 1. Understanding ethical leadership. Define ethical leadership. Ethical leadership refers to the ability of leaders to make decisions that are morally correct and align with the values and principles of an organization. Importance of ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is vital for building trust, promoting ethical behavior, and enhancing the overall reputation of the organization. 2. Characteristics of ethical leaders. Integrity. Ethical leaders act with honesty, fairness, and transparency in all their dealings. Accountability. Ethical leaders take responsibility for their actions, admit mistakes, and learn from them. Respect. Ethical leaders value the opinions, contributions, and rights of others. Empathy. Ethical leaders display empathy by understanding and considering the needs and perspectives of others. 3. Impact of ethical leadership on organizational culture. Creating an ethical culture. Ethical leaders shape the organizational culture by setting the tone at the top and consistently reinforcing ethical values. Encouraging ethical behavior. Ethical leaders inspire employees to act ethically by providing guidance, support, and recognition for ethical conduct. Improving employee morale and engagement. When employees trust their leaders and feel that they are working in an ethical environment, it leads to increased job satisfaction, commitment, and productivity. Attracting and retaining talent. Organizations with strong ethical leadership and ethical cultures are more likely to attract and retain high-quality employees. 4. Key strategies for ethical leadership. Lead by example. Ethical leaders should consistently demonstrate ethical behavior and adhere to the highest standards of integrity. Communicate openly and transparently. Ethical leaders should ensure that there is clear communication regarding ethical standards, expectations, and consequences for unethical behavior. Provide ethics training and education. Ethical leaders should invest in training programs to help employees understand ethical issues, dilemmas, and the importance of ethical decision-making. Establish a formal code of ethics. Ethical leaders should develop and enforce a code of ethics that outlines the organization's values, principles, and expectations for ethical conduct. 5. Ethical leadership challenges. Balancing ethical considerations with business objectives. Ethical leaders need to find a balance between making ethically sound decisions and achieving business goals. Handling ethical dilemmas. Ethical leaders must be prepared to address complex ethical dilemmas and guide others through the decision-making process. Addressing ethical misconduct. Ethical leaders should have mechanisms in place to identify and address ethical misconduct promptly. In conclusion, ethical leadership plays a vital role in creating an ethical organizational culture. Leaders who act ethically and consistently reinforce ethical values can shape the behavior, attitudes, and decision-making processes of their employees. By understanding the importance of ethical leadership and its impact on organizational culture, businesses can strive towards fostering an ethical environment that promotes both success and social responsibility. Business ethics and corporate social responsibility. Business ethics case studies. In the world of business ethics and corporate social responsibility, case studies play a crucial role in exploring various real-life scenarios and ethical dilemmas faced by businesses. These case studies serve as valuable learning tools for individuals and organizations to understand and address ethical issues in the business world. In this tutorial, we will delve into several business ethics case studies that highlight different aspects of ethical decision-making and corporate responsibility. Case Study 1: The Volkswagen Emission Scandal. The scandal involving Volkswagen's diesel engine emissions serves as an exemplary case study to understand the consequences of unethical practices. Volkswagen intentionally manipulated their vehicle's emissions data to meet regulatory standards while cheating on environmental tests. This unethical act led to a significant breach of trust and severe consequences for the company, including substantial fines and damage to their brand reputation. This case study highlights the importance of transparency, honesty, and adhering to ethical standards in business operations. Case Study 2: Nike and Sweatshop Labor. Nike, a global leader in athletic footwear and apparel, faced severe criticism in the late 1990s due to their association with sweatshop labor practices. The company was accused of exploiting low-wage workers in developing countries, violating fair labor standards, and disregarding the importance of corporate social responsibility. The case study of Nike presents an opportunity to discuss the ethical responsibilities of multinational corporations and the need for supply chain transparency and social accountability. Case Study 3: Enron and Accounting Fraud. The Enron scandal is a prominent case study in corporate ethics, involving widespread accounting fraud and deception. Enron, once considered a powerful energy company, manipulated their financial statements to create an illusion of profitability and hide debt. This unethical behavior eventually led to the collapse of the company, immense loss to stakeholders, and strict regulatory reforms. The Enron case study serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of ethical accounting practices and maintaining integrity in financial reporting. Case Study 4: Nestlé and Infant Formula. Nestlé, a multinational food and beverage company, faced allegations of unethical marketing practices related to their infant formula products in developing countries. The company was accused of promoting their formula over breastfeeding, leading to health risks for infants in regions with poor access to clean water. This case study raises important questions about the responsibility of businesses towards the health and well-being of consumers, particularly in vulnerable communities, and emphasizes the need for ethical marketing practices. Case Study 5: Wells Fargo and Unauthorized Accounts. The case of Wells Fargo highlights unethical behavior within the banking industry. The company was found guilty of opening unauthorized bank and credit card accounts for customers without their knowledge or consent, aiming to meet aggressive sales targets. This case study sheds light on the ethical implications of prioritizing short-term financial gains over customer trust, emphasizing the significance of ethical conduct, internal controls, and accountability within organizations.